In some breaking news, India has slammed China and said that Chinese construction at Doklam would represent a significant change of status quo with serious security implications for India. Well, for more on that particular story, we are joined by our correspondent Siddhant Sibal joining us. Siddhant, what does this at a particular point, at this point of time, does it mean? Is this the worst crisis that we are looking at between Delhi and Beijing since 2013?
Well, it can be termed as the worst crisis since like 5 years since the old big crisis which happened. But let me tell you, this is the first government of India reaction on the developments which has taken on that plateau. Basically, this plateau is on the tri-junction of India, China, and Sikkim. It's part of Sikkim, and what happened a week ago was that the Chinese started building a road towards this plateau and has been claiming that area. This might be considered as a part, as a policy by the Chinese government to encroach Bhutanese land, and two times the Bhutanese government reacted on it. First, the Bhutanese ambassador in New Delhi sent a démarche through the Chinese embassy in New Delhi to Beijing, and yesterday the foreign ministry of Bhutan reacted strongly, and today India reacting on this development. India slamming China and saying that India has consistently taken a positive approach to settlement of boundary disputes with China. India has said that India cherishes peace and tranquility on India-China border. Remember, the Mansarovar Yatra through the Nathula Pass has also been suspended a week ago by the Chinese government. So increasingly we can see an aggressive China which has been taking posturing, and this comes in the background when Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in US. Sure. So you can see a kind of pressure tactic being created by the Chinese government towards India and of course a smaller neighbor like Bhutan.
Okay, Siddhant, what's the strategic point of, the Doklam Plateau? Is it considering the Chumbi Valley that exists there? That's the strategic point that China is vying for at this point of time?
Well, Doklam Plateau is situated between China, the Indian state of Sikkim, and Bhutan. If China somehow occupies, which it seems from its own current strategy, it will overlook the chicken neck which connects the Indian landmass with the northeast. And of course, it has security implications for India. Already, India in the statement has said that if we talk about India has said that India is deeply concerned at recent Chinese action and already conveyed to the Chinese government about the development which has taken place. India has said that if the Chinese plan to build a road towards this plateau, it will have huge security implications for India. So India has called on the Chinese construction party to not construct such roads which have security implications both for India and of course for Bhutan. So in a sense, it's the situation currently is grave, and in the last 1 week, the Chinese government has reacted very strongly. Even the Chinese army coming out with a statement. So you can see it's a kind of tiff which has broken out between New Delhi and Beijing.
Siddhant, one quick word. Do you get the feeling that somewhere Beijing is getting unnerved with India's close association at this point of time with Washington? Is this a fallout of that particular?
Well, very correct, Anil, because if we look at the geopolitics behind it, increasingly India, of course, India has been a close partner of America and trying to strengthen the relationship, particularly under the new administration led by Donald Trump. And of course, China has its own partner in the subcontinent, in the Indian subcontinent, and it has now key stakes with the CPEC. Passing through the entire of Pakistan and somehow creating Pakistan as a client state of China through its Silk Road, which the Chinese government claimed as a new connectivity route. But of course, it's a part of geostrategy, and of course, it's somehow China is obviously not happy with India. It has in the past created noise when Dalai Lama visited the Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh, which the Chinese government has been claiming as its own part as South Tibet. So, of course, there is a background behind it. And of course, the day before yesterday, China came out strongly against India, even reminding India of the war in the 70s, and of course saying that India should remember the lesson behind it. So clearly, the war of words have broken between New Delhi and Beijing.
Okay, Siddhant, we'll leave it there. The Doklam Plateau at this point of time becoming a point of contention there between India and China. Meanwhile, Bhutan has slammed China by saying that the construction of the road inside the Bhutanese territory is a direct violation of the agreement of 1988 and 1998 between Bhutan and China, and it affects the progress of demarcating the boundary between the two countries. They have urged a return to the status quo as before 16 June 2017. Meanwhile, India has also slammed China and said that Chinese construction at Doklam would represent a significant change of status quo with serious security implications for India.